What if your greatest weaknesses aren't weaknesses at all? What if the parts of yourself you've learned to suppress, to hide, and to feel ashamed of are actually the source of your greatest strengths? Think about it. Your anger, your fear, your ambition, even your envy. What if they aren't demons you need to get rid of, but powerful energies just waiting to be pointed in the right direction? This isn't just some feel-good idea. It's a forgotten truth, a kind of ancient wisdom that challenges everything we've been taught about self-improvement. We're always told to find the light, be positive, and cut out the negativity. But what if the real key to becoming whole, powerful, and authentically you isn't about ignoring the darkness, but having the courage to walk right into it? For centuries, we've been at war with ourselves. We spend so much of our lives building a version of ourselves we think the world wants to see, the good version. We're taught to be kind, but never angry, confident, but never afraid, humble, but never ambitious. So, what do? We push all those other parts of ourselves down, deep into the basement of our minds. We lock the door and pretend they don't exist, but they do. And the energy it takes to keep them suppressed is exhausting. It leaves us feeling anxious, divided, and like we're faking it. We live with this constant fear that one day the mask will slip and the world will see the darkness we've hidden away. We even start projecting these traits onto other people, judging them for the very things we refuse to see in ourselves. This inner conflict is the root of so much frustration, creative block, and self-sabotage. But ancient wisdom, from the Stoics to old myths, shows us another way. There's a modern name for this hidden part of us, coined by the psychiatrist Carl Jung: the shadow. He described it as the collection of everything we try to deny about ourselves. It's all our disowned impulses, desires, and traits tucked away in our unconscious. But this idea is ancient. It's a universal story. Think of the old myths. Heroes from the Greek Odysseus to the Mesopotamian Inanna all had to journey into the underworld, a symbolic trip into their own inner darkness, to find true wisdom or a lost part of themselves. These weren't just adventure stories. They were psychological roadmaps. They teach us that the journey into your own depths isn't a sign of failure, but a necessary rite of passage. Jung famously said, "One doesn't become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." This is the huge shift in thinking. The goal isn't to get rid of your dark side. You can't. Your shadow is a part of you, just like your actual shadow is when you stand in the sun. Denying it is denying half of who you are. The real path to wholeness isn't destroying the shadow, but integrating it. It's about facing that locked door in your mind, turning the key, and starting a conversation with what you've hidden inside. This isn't about letting your anger run wild or letting fear paralyze you. It's about understanding these energies, respecting them, and then consciously choosing how to use them for your own good. So, how do you actually do this? It's not a one-time thing, but a practice. It takes honesty and courage. The old wisdom traditions left us a clear, three-step path: acknowledgement, acceptance, and integration. First, acknowledgement. Through self-reflection. You can't face what you won't see. This is what practices like journaling and meditation were really for. They aren't about clearing your mind, but about observing it without judgment. Start a journal, but don't just write about your day. Write about what triggers you. What makes you irrationally angry? What traits in other people do you absolutely despise? Jung believed the things we judge most harshly in others are often just reflections of our own shadow. Pay attention to your moods, daydreams, and impulses. Write it all down without filtering yourself. This is your private map. The goal is just to see what's there. Second, acceptance. Through mindfulness, this has deep roots in traditions like Stoicism and Buddhism. Acceptance doesn't mean you approve of the feeling, it just means you stop fighting it. The Stoics taught that we can't control that first flash of anger or fear, but we can control how we react to it. So when you feel a dark emotion rising, just pause. Don't act on it, but don't suppress it either. Simply observe it. Say to yourself, there is anger, or I feel envy right now. By naming it without judgment, you create a tiny space between the feeling and your reaction. In that space is your freedom. You're not trying to kill the emotion. You're just letting it be, without letting it drive the car. Third, and this is where the magic happens, is integration. Through conscious action. Integration means you find a mature, constructive use for the energy behind your shadow traits. You realize that every flaw is just a powerful force that hasn't been given a good job. Your suppressed anger? That's an incredible source of energy. Left to rot, it becomes bitterness. But integrated, it can be channeled into a passion for justice, the strength to protect your boundaries, or the fuel to change what's wrong with your world. Your fear, once you face it, becomes caution and foresight. Your envy points directly to what you want, and its energy can be transformed into a real plan for achievement. Think of the legendary samurai Miyamoto Musashi. He was filled with a ferocious rage and ambition. Instead of letting it destroy him, he channeled that inner fire into an unbreakable focus and a revolutionary strategy that made him one of the greatest swordsmen in history. He took the raw energy of his shadow and balanced it with wisdom. This is the final step. To ask yourself, what is the hidden gift in this part of me? What good could this energy do if I were in control of it? This is the moment it all clicks. When you stop wasting massive amounts of energy holding down parts of yourself, all that energy comes flooding back to you. It's like discovering a hidden power source inside you. Suddenly, you start to feel more authentic, more solid. That feeling of being an imposter begins to fade, replaced by a quiet confidence that comes from accepting all of yourself, not just the good parts. Your creativity blossoms because it's no longer being censored by a fear of what might come out. People who have done this work have a certain depth to them. They aren't naive. They understand the full spectrum of human nature because they've been brave enough to explore it in themselves. This makes them more compassionate because they're less likely to project their own junk onto other people. But the greatest strength you get is resilience. Life will knock you down. You will face pain and setbacks. Someone who has only ever lived in the light can be shattered by this. But a person who has journeyed into their own inner darkness knows that hardship is a part of life, not the end of it. They've faced their own monsters, so the ones in the outside world seem a lot less scary. They've learned to find wisdom in their wounds. That is true strength. It isn't the absence of weakness, but the integration of everything you are into an unbreakable whole. This path isn't easy. It takes real courage and honesty. As Jung warned, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. But it's the only journey that leads to genuine freedom. You are not broken. You are just disconnected from parts of yourself. Your journey to becoming whole begins in the dark. Embracing your shadow doesn't make you bad. It makes you complete. So, I'll leave you with a question to start your own journey. A question to write down, to think about, to carry with you. What is the one part of yourself you have spent your entire life running from? And what do you think might happen if you finally stopped running, turned around, and faced it?